Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Sunday afternoon. So it's time to talk about coping with stress. And as you probably saw from the thumbnail picture, yeah, I had a duh this week, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. But also, I had great accomplishment. However, before we get to that start, you will probably see I've got cooking type stuff here. I thought, depending on how we do on the broadcast today, I'd actually show you some meal prepping that I'm going to do using basically plant-based meat. Because I know a lot of you probably wonder, you saw me try it once, but have I ever had it again? And I really did enjoy it enough that I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. This is the second time I'm using it. I have also, just so that you know, I've just reordered more plant-based chicken nuggets because they taste so good. And why would I, not have them is my feeling. So, birthdays. We had Ginny's birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, Ginny, for yesterday. Hi there, Ilse. Good to see you. And I really hope that you had a wonderful day, and I hope that you hear this and know that I was thinking of you. For those of you who may or may not know, we're going to have daylight savings time on March 10th. We're going to go forward. And my question, either to those of you who are in the room or those of you who might watch on the replay, is how many of you actually prepare your bodies for that change? In other words, how many of you go to bed earlier for maybe a week or so, 10 days maybe, prior to it, so that your body doesn't have that immediate shock? And I just thought maybe it's a good idea for our bodies. So if any of you do it, let me know how it works for you. I'm thinking about doing it myself, actually. 23 days until spring. I've got lots of fun stuff to show you on that one. Some of you know that I do hydroponics. I'm trying to grow things in water and just as an experiment. But what I've got is something that I wanted to show you that you've got to see, quite honestly, to believe. All right. This is a pretty sad looking impatient. And it looks pretty sad, but I'm really excited about it because when I show you what's underneath here, it's been sitting in my bathtub, my spare bathroom bathtub, all winter. Okay. And what I did is I filled this up with water, and occasionally I topped it up, but not very often, quite honestly. And this is what I want to show you. Okay. First of all, how far do you think the roots went down over the course of the winter? Do you think they went down a quarter, a half, or all the way to the bottom? Right? Make that decision for yourself. So here we go. This is what it has done over the course of the winter. Isn't that amazing? So it is, if I put that down to the bottom, it's nearly twice the length of the height of the milk jug. Now, obviously, pretty soon now, I'm going to put that in. Oh, Jody, did you see what I just did, Jody? Because you got to see that if you didn't. Obviously, I'm going to be putting all of this. There you go, Jody. That's how long the roots grew over the winter. I'm just going to get it back in again. I'm going to be, pretty soon I'm going to be putting that in soil. Probably end of mid April, I think. Yeah, wasn't that amazing? So what I want to see is, it looks pretty sad like this now, but we know how much strength it's got underneath. So my feeling is, once it gets itself back into good soil, will it just explode? I think it probably will. So I wanted to show you guys that. The other thing is, at last, and please keep your fingers crossed for me, at last I have got lettuce seeds that have grown. And these are romaine lettuce. I'm going to see if I can grow my own this year. I go through about 3 romaine lettuce a month. But what I want to know is, can I grow my own? Because for the price of this, I bought a whole packet of seeds. So it makes sense if I can just get into the habit of regularly sowing them and growing them. Let's see how long it takes. I think for those of you who are regular viewers, you know it's all an experiment for me. It's all part of what interests me. I originally planted these in February. Oh, I did plant these in February. So it would have been about 2 weeks ago. Pretty good, huh? All right, so, and here are some of my microgreens. They're doing really well. And these are doing well as well, and dripping all over me. Good. So, hang on a second. All right, so what I wanted to show you is, I'm just going to wrap this in a towel for while I'm talking to you. This is my daily pita that I'm going to make. I haven't had anything to eat yet today. I lie. I lie to you. I don't mean to, but I've just lied to you. I have had a piece of cheese because I have one medication that I have to eat with fat. So I've had one sort of little piece of cheese like this. However, here's the fun part that we're going to do. We're going to make some stuff while we chat. So let me just get back to what we're trying to talk about. Yeah, the mistake. Have any of you ever made a big mistake? Yep, I did this week. I think you all know that I'm trying to redo my laundry room, the one bank of cupboards all along my laundry room. And it's about 10 different cupboards. And I bought all the bits for it, the paint, the hinges, the knobs, everything, like 2 years ago. And this thing has slowly been coming up my list until it got to the top. And so it was a winter project that I wanted to get done. And I got Ciora, who comes in to help me every week for a couple of hours, to help me do this, because I realize now I am not capable of being up a ladder and doing it the way I used to. So I, bit the bullet on that one, got rid of my ego and went, okay, Ciora. And she loves painting and doing stuff like that. So we got the doors off and got the place emptied. And then we got the inside, took 2 coats of paint. She was telling me she brought the doors back yesterday. She's telling me that some of those doors took 3 coats of paint to make them right, which doesn't surprise me. But we went to put the hinges on. And I bought the wrong hinges. I didn't know that there were different sorts of hinges. I thought, yeah, hinges are hinges, right? So I'm telling you in case you make the same mistake I did. And, if you are aware, then maybe. The good news is Albert Einstein always said that anybody who has never made a mistake never tried anything new. All right, so most hinges are sort of like this, and then they've got that bit, okay, and then this bit, right? Guess what? Cupboard hinges, for some cupboards, you know what you need to do is you need to check the inside of the door first, because if your door is made with what I call two bits of wood, all right, an outer bit and an inner bit, then you don't need that. You need one that looks like this. Okay, so that bit's the same, but then this bit does this. Now, I didn't know that. It has a step in it. And guess what I did? I bought the ordinary ones, and what I needed were these. So here we were, so excited yesterday. Cannot tell you how excited we were. Got the doors all done, all ready to go back. We had a process of how we were going to put them together. And just as we started it, we went to put the hinges on the first door, and it didn't work. And so we tried it another way, and it didn't work. And then eventually we went and got the old hinges, which luckily we still had. And that's when we realized it's a completely different hinge. So did I feel stupid? Yep. Did I waste quite a bit of money? Maybe. I will try and sell them as a pack because there are 20 of them, you can imagine. So it's about $50 worth of hinges. But I'm going to try and sell them as a, because they're brand new out of the box. But I did laugh. Then I made Ciora sit down with me as we reordered the next ones to make sure we both agreed on what we really need. So have any of you ever done that where you all excited, here we go, going to get the hinges on the doors, and I was so excited I was going to be able to get the knobs on as well and then take the picture to show you. And then it was like, but only one more week, people. It's going to happen. Now, the reason, of course, I'm so excited, as some of you know, is it's been on my to-do list for 4 years. It's going to be done. It's going to be done. So exciting. Al Franken said, mistakes are part of being human. Appreciate your mistakes for what they are. Precious life lessons that can only be learned the hard way. Unless it's a fatal mistake, which at least others can learn from. So, I looked at it and I went, who knew? I lived all this time and I never had a reason to find out that there are two different sorts of hinges. But I learned the lesson. And therefore, if ever I talk hinges, I'm going to be going, wait a minute, what sort of hinges? So I thought I would share that with you because the chances are you don't know either. Well, some of you are really clever, so you probably did. Did any of you watch the second, the sort of moon landing, the first one in 50 years? Did any of you watch that this week? While we're talking, I'm going to make something with the plant-based meat. Okay. Oh, by the way, what I did was I divided this up into what would be portions, all right? So I'm going to take a couple of portions for what I want to do today. What I'm going to do is to make one cottage pie. You probably call it shepherd's pie. But I'm going to make one cottage pie. Well, actually, not. It's going to be vegetable pie. Now that I think about it. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Not very much. That's all plant-based. I've got some leftover vegetables from the fridge. Let me see what I got here. Celery, peppers, onion, tomatoes, leeks, and corn. Okay. Now you're saying, so why are you adding more vegetables when this is already vegetable-based, plant-based? Because I want to. I'm going to make a big noise, so hold on. Actually, while I was doing that, I realized I also have carrots in here. So I'm going to strain this off. But by the way, that's the easiest way I know to quickly mince up vegetables for doing something like this. Just put it in the blender with a bit of water and then save the water. Well, if you're going to use it, I will save this water to put into a soup base. Does that make sense to everybody? So don't waste it. It's good stuff. Okay, so we know we'll probably put some of it in here, depending how much we need. So I'm just going to mix that in. Now, they say when you use this plant-based stuff to add a little bit of fat, okay, which I'm going to do. Now, I'm thinking that should end up about 2 servings for me. That's pretty good. So the way that I did the fat was I took 1 piece of bacon and because let's be honest, what's the best tasting fat there is, right? So I took 1 piece of bacon and I'm going to take that piece of bacon out and I'm going to put the fat from. It had already been pre-cooked, half cooked. So this is how much fat was still in there the second time. I'm going to add that to there. Just mix that all in. There we go. And I'm going to make 2 different meals out of it, maybe 3. We'll see how we go. That's good. I'm not going to use the bacon yet because I don't need it for there. I'm going to make that. Yeah, actually, maybe I do. Maybe I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a burger, a stuffed burger. So I'm going to take this, about half of it. No, not quite half. And by the way, it's a really good idea to, whenever you're freezing ground meat, is actually make the patties like this first, because it's great portion control. All right, this is 1/4 pound I put in there already. And what did I do with it, people? Oh, there it is. So what I'm going to do is just make a dent in it. There we go. And then I'm going to put in some bacon, crumble into, yum. That's going to be good. I found, for those of you who don't know, I'm busy. I have just got the 8th week without buying meat. I'm eating out of my freezer. I call it dumpster diving. Hi there, Beth. Good to see you, honey. Beth, how's your health after the stroke? How are you doing? Right, the other thing I need to use up is some cheese sticks that I had in the fridge. So let's put those in as well. So just take a pair of scissors there, makes it easy. Yeah, 8 weeks without buying any meat. I'm so proud of myself. Now, that's presuming you don't count the plant-based meat, right? Okay, so I've got some cheese and bacon in there. It's going to be good. And then I'm going to put a top on it. So I now have I now have a half pounder. Look at that. Okay, Beth's saying blood pressure is normal as long as I remember to take my meds. I forget sometimes, don't we all? Okay, so there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up and freeze it. But can you see that was really easy? And then what I will do is when I want a burger, by the way, I'm going to put this in the freezer. And I'm not going to punish myself for that because it's plant-based. Will that fit in there? Maybe. I think it will. I hope so. Take a big one. And obviously, once it's frozen, I will take it out of the form. Okay, so there we go. One plant-based bacon and cheese burger in the freezer. And what I'm going to do with the other half is I'm going to make myself a little shepherd's pie or cottage pie. Actually, before I do that, let me just make sure so that you know the quantities, because that's important. You know, I found out that in most things, about 3 ounces is a portion when you're talking about meat stuff. So I'm going to weigh this first. Yep. Hang on a second. So this weighs 1 pound. £1 pound, 3 ounce, 3.5 ounces roughly. Okay, so this should come up to about 6. I think. Oh, 8, even better. All right, so there we go. So what I'm going to do is just spread that out in the bottom there. And then, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to put some HP sauce on it so it tastes really good. Okay, spread that around. So that just, oh boy, I'll just have to have some of that now. So good. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I made some mashed potato. There we go. Put that on. I'm going to put some mashed potato on top. Okay, so we haven't got any meat in here, right? This is just purely fake meat, plant-based meat. 1 second. Just want to see if that's... Okay. So, and I'm just going to score it. I don't know why, when you score like this, when you score mashed potato like that, it gets crispy. And I don't know about you, but I love crispy mashed potato. And that's what I'm going to be eating today. So I just put it in at 375 so that it'll start browning up. But I still have, this is what I call my potato for the week. So what I'm going to do is, you might have seen me do this before, but it's a really good use of leftover mashed potato. And very simple to make. I'm going to make a mixture of breadcrumbs from my sourdough bread. Yeah. And some of these French's onions, you know the sort I mean, those things. Cut some of those in there. Just crush them up a bit. And then what I'm going to do is chop up what's left of the bacon. How many of you are getting hungry just looking at this? There we go. Nice and simple. And mix that all up together. Now, the other thing that I normally do, and let me do it this time as well, is one other additive. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. So basically, we've got some bacon, protein. We've got some breadcrumbs, carbs. That's sourdough, so it doesn't count as much. It's fiber as well. And then, some onion and some Parmesan, more protein. And then all we're going to do the mashed potato is pretty loose, so it might take quite a bit. So I'm just going to take a handful, get it roughly into a ball-ish. Oh yeah, it's pretty loose. So probably need a little help here. Come on. So getting there. Very very good for using up, the last of the Parmesan. I had fresh Parmesan come in this week, so I wanted to use this up. It's good. It's 2. This is the third one. I think I'm just going to spread some more breadcrumbs over the top. Wash your hands. Okay. That's really this might make two actually. Now that I look at it. Okay, I'm going to spread some more breadcrumbs on it. That's one. So this was basically 2 cups of mashed potato left over. Actually, not left over. I made it specially. But all the rest of the stuff is stuff that's left over in the fridge. That's looking good. So as soon as the dinner has cooked, we're just going to crisp these up. And now I've got potato for the week if I want it. And I can choose how to use it, all right? So that's about a serving. It's the way I look at it. But we know it's got some good stuff in it, right? It's got a bit of bacon, it's got a bit of cheese, it's got, stuff. All right. So very simple to do. I thought I saw Sandy come in. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. So, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe I'll leave it just as it is. Now, I said I wanted to tell you about my accomplishment of the week. I had a major accomplishment. I know this will sound probably pathetic to some of you, but for those of you who don't know, a couple of years ago, nearly, I ended up with breast cancer and ended up with a mastectomy. Then I ended up with a drug that quite honestly halved my ability to do anything, halved my ability to think, to walk, to do anything. And it also severely impacted my hips. And so, for those of you who have known me through all of this, I woke up on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. No, maybe it must have been Saturday, yesterday. Anyway, just to let you know, whatever day it was, the sun was shining, and I thought, wow, Here we are midwinter and the sun's shining. So I'm going to put my runners on, and I did. And then I said, I'm going to walk around the community. Now, what I did is I made sure that one of my neighbors knew I was about to do it, because I wasn't quite sure whether I was strong enough to be able to do it. You can understand that. All through the winter, I've been sort of walking while I watch, put something on, binge watching on the television, and I just walk while, I'm watching it, trying to get my hips moving again. And what I hadn't found out was, had I made them strong enough to be able to walk, for the community walk. And that it takes, actually, it was half the lap. There's a halfway one and there's a bigger one. So I made sure somebody knew I was attempting it, so that if I fell or anything, I could email them, just text them and say, come get me. But much to my surprise, I made it all the way around. Can any of you imagine, probably Beth, because she will have had the same thing, having the stroke and then recovering, but she recovered very quickly from the stroke. But it has really taken me a long time to get everything working again. Yeah, something, Sandy, I feel so proud of myself. I don't care if anybody else thinks it's pathetic, because I've gone from almost not being able to walk at all to being able to walk. It was a 20-minute walk nonstop, and part of it was uphill, because the property is on a hill. So, it's uphill on the one, downhill on the other, which I like. So I was really happy about that. Now, the thing I didn't notice, but Jody did, is that apparently my, because I put an app on it to make sure that I could prove that I did it to myself. But Jody noticed something that I didn't. Jody noticed that my average stride length was 29 inches. Now, that probably means something to some of you, but it didn't mean much to me. So, when she said, boy, you had 29-inch stride, and I'm going, so, well, apparently the average stride is 30. So that means that my hips are working again. So that is just so awesome. Cannot tell you how excited I am about that. Do you want to see how the pie looks? Hold on a second. Well, that's hot. So you see how just scoring it with a fork just makes it hot. So that's going to be dinner. And then I'm just going to spritz it with a bit of olive oil. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, Sandy's saying it's a big step. You mentioned you were going to try it on Friday's broadcast. So glad it went well. I want to tell you, I wish you could have seen me, because I was so darn excited when I got back. I was pathetic, because there was part of me, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, probably Jody can, but there was part of me that wondered whether I would ever be able to do it again. I know that when I managed to make it down to the post box and back, I was pretty proud of myself, but now that is 3 times that. So, yay. Now, I don't think Jenny's here today, but if Jenny happens to hear this, Jenny mentioned on a previous broadcast, she asked me if I was going to do the sun run. Now, the sun run is one of the it's like a family run that they do here in Vancouver, British Columbia, in April. And it's a precursor to the big BMO marathon. So what I said to her, no, there's no way I can do that. Well, what I found out is part of the sun run this year is a 2.5 kilometer walk or run. And I thought, I could probably do that if I put some effort into it. What do you think? So what I'm going to do is to see if I can do 2.5 kilometers. That's, how much would that be? Oh, Jody, could you convert that into miles for the Americans? Anyway, 2.5 kilometers by April the 21st. And I'm trying to remember, just hang on a second. Let me see how many times that would be doing what I did. Wait 1 second. I think it was 0.8. Bear with me a second. Outdoor walking, 18 minutes. Hold on. I'm just trying to see what it is. Outdoor walking. It was half a mile. Okay. All right. So it was half a mile. So, Jody, I would need to do 3 laps of the short community walk, or maybe one of the long one and then a short one. That's what we're going to try. So my next goal, it's going to be a really rotten week this week. So I'm not going to undertake to do it this week because I don't want to go out when it's raining badly and we might even have snow. So I don't want to get sick. But, as we go into the better weather, my next goal will be to do the long route and see how long that takes. And as I thought, it probably is one long one and one short one. And that would do the 2.5 kilometers. Yay. Now, in the meantime, I know that it took me 18 minutes to do the short route. Hi there, Jeannie. Good to see you. And the reason it took me 18 minutes is because I chit-chatted with neighbors on the way back. And I'm going, it didn't really take me 18 minutes because I probably spent 10, 15 minutes just with the neighbor. Oh, I didn't do it in 3 minutes. No, I probably spent 5 minutes to 10 minutes talking to the neighbors. So we can see about that one, right? So the other thing is I'm just going to, this is my allowance of bread every day, right? It's 3 ounces of dough I allow myself. And for those of you who've just joined in, I haven't had anything to eat today, so this is I'm meal prepping for this evening, plus during the week. Okay. Now, normally I'd have plant-based cheese on here, but I've run out. So that's coming next week. So I'm putting real cheese on there this time. And that came out of the freezer. And I'll tell you what else came out of the freezer this week. tomorrow. Right, what do I want on it? A cucumber. Lots of green. And there. And then microgreens. And that's called yum. Now, I did have another accomplishment this week, which I want to tell you about. Maybe that's not the best way. That would be better. All right, so now I'm pretty sure some of you are looking at and going, oh, I'm not just eating plant-based meat, Jeannie. Jeannie's asking me, do you think you'll have plant-based meat for Easter? No. I probably will go to a neighbor's house, but the thing is I'm still eating meat. I'm just not buying any. I'm trying to dumpster dive into my freezer to use up some of the food that I put aside for the pandemic. That's what I'm trying to do. And I've got a very big freezer, and it's very difficult to make a hole in it. I don't want a hole in it. Sorry, no. What I mean is, that I'm having difficulty bringing it down. So what I did is I decided that I would see how far I could go into the year without buying more meat. In other words, if I want meat, I have to take something out of the freezer. And that's what I was going to tell you. But before I do, just how many of you going, that looks pretty healthy? I'm still putting on weight. And for some reason, Jody thinks it is something to do with all the trauma that I went through with the teeth and everything that created this, that my hormones are all bouncing around in the wrong way. So we're just going to take it easy, do the right things, and see if it comes off. Let's hope it does. But I'm actually at a bigger weight now than I've ever been, so that's a bit scary. And I'm drinking about 1.5 to 2 liters of water a day as well. So I don't know what's causing it, but something is. And I don't want to go into having injections because what I want to do is get it off. Yeah, the right way. So our little patties are done. So that's for the week, all right? And how I eat them, is up to me. I might have one as a snack on its own. I might have one with some, beef or something, but it's done. Now, remembering that my total potato input for the week is less than it's actually 2 cups, all right? Yeah, Jeannie's saying I had pork in my freezer for a while. I cooked it recently with stuffing, gave some away. Yeah, of course. And that's the whole thing. that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get far enough down to find out what is there. And also, who do I need to invite to come eat with me? If I find anything that's big. Now, obviously, the challenge will be if somebody comes to visit that I really wanted to cook a really nice meal for, I might be tempted to go and buy meat. But it's not going to be, I'm going to do as much as I can not to do that unless it's for entertaining, in that different way. But even then, it'll be impressive. It's the same thing. If you think about it, I've just made 3 different things, and the only meat I put in is 1 rasher of bacon. Did you think about that? Right? I made a shepherd's pie. I made some potato pancakes, and I made a pita. But the only meat I've used, I used some cheese, which is protein meat, what sort of meat. But you know what I'm saying? I literally used 1 small rasher of bacon, and I'm pretty good. Yeah, Jeannie's saying, I enjoy cooking for my house cleaner. And you have a house cleaner, Jeannie? You're so lucky. Right? And a dog groomer. And I say you're so lucky, but I understand how important that is at your age. I want to tell you something. I know that I fought hard with my mind about getting Siora to come in and help me do things once a week. But, I realized that I didn't have enough people visiting me that I could say, could you help me do this? Could you help me do that? And so I am really proud of myself that I allowed myself that luxury, because it is important at our age. So we don't strain ourselves, if we've got to do something. For example, I could not have done, the repainting of the laundry room. So there we go. All right, let me go back to where we were. How many of you I was thinking, Jeannie, you must have been really happy with the election results in Georgia. And I don't know whether it makes sense to anyone, but my heart broke because I went, this means that Ukraine is not going to get its funding that it needs. And I'm thinking about all the Ukrainians who have already given their lives, and those that will now, Russia has twice as many soldiers as Ukraine, and then some. And so they're already totally outnumbered in terms of that. And then you look at it and you go, and now they're not going to have enough money to buy the ammunition they need. Did I say Georgia? I meant South Carolina. Thank you, Jeannie. So I look at it and go, whilst I am sure that makes an awful lot of people happy, that Mr. Trump will come back in probably as president. I know the cost of this aid package for Ukraine is going to get stalled. And he's not going to give anybody the joy of being able to say they got that through. And it just breaks my heart. And I'm sorry for my political moment, but if I don't tell you that truth, I just don't know. Can you imagine being a soldier on the front line in Ukraine going, America's not going to give us more bullets or more, stuff that we need to even stay in stalemate, never mind win it. So it really, really did affect me. And I know it shouldn't, but it did. So there we go. And who am I to say what you should be doing in the States? It affects us too. It affects us in Canada because now we have to probably come up with a lot more to help. If the US is not going to do it, then it's for the rest of the world going to have to step up if they can and do it. And that is scary, right? Really scary because will it happen? Let's hope so. So there we go. Did any of you see a good movie this week? And I'm saying that because, it depends what you call a good movie, right? uh, it's interesting. Oh, before I forget, on the teeth issue, some of you know I did get the 2 teeth filled this week, but I need to go to an oral surgeon to have 4 teeth extracted. And the really scary part of this is that I got hold of the oral surgeon and I got an appointment in July. I don't know about you, but that's really scary. So I may have to look for another oral surgeon to see if I can get any improvement on July, because I don't think this front tooth is going to last that long. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Jeannie's saying she's concerned about the Biden administration not helping Israel. Forgive me, Jeannie, and again, it's just, I want to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. I thought it wasn't a case of they don't want to help. It's a case of they didn't want to see the massacre of the Palestinians that are now sitting in the last little part. That's what the holdup is. It's not about they don't want to support it. It's they just want to make sure it's a humanitarian thing, that they get the innocent people out. Did I misunderstand that? Again, forgive me, because I'm sitting here in Canada. But I thought what was holding up this discussion was the fact that trying to find a way that, millions of innocent people don't get killed. We've already lost so many innocent people in this war. So, but I might have misunderstood it. So I'm sure you'll let me know. Yeah, interesting. Jeannie's saying, can I get help with the appointment by having the dentist talk to the oral surgeon? I want to tell you, Jeannie, great minds think alike. The first thing I did was to let my dentist know, yes, I got an appointment, but it's not until July the 8th. I'm certain that will upset him. And so I think he might already be onto that. And if I haven't heard from him within a week, I'll be talking to him. So thank you for suggesting that. I'm going tomorrow to have the cast done for the tooth that's going to come out, the front tooth. This one. Okay, this one's coming out, and what they're going to do is they're going to give me what they call a flipper tooth that they will put in. So while I wait the 2 months for my gums to all heal, so that they can give me the partial dentures. Now the flipper tooth will just help me not look like a crone. Which means I hopefully will still be able to broadcast. And, we'll see. That's what I really would like to be able to do. So there we go. All right, everybody. So I hope you've had a wonderful week. Does anybody else have any updates that they want to share that we can put into here? And I really want to tell you that by this time next week, I will be able to, if all things are going well, that we will be able to have that laundry room finished. And I will be, I don't know why it's so important for me to do that, but it is. All right, so that's all that I have for this week. I hope that you enjoyed a little bit of everything. Isn't it amazing what you can do just with one rasher of bacon? And I can assure you that it'll all be tasty. I think the best way I can describe plant-based meat, but I was trying to think, how do you describe it to somebody who's never tried it? And I'm certain a lot of people, I tell you what it tastes like. It tastes like really tasty stuffing. That's the best way that I could describe it. It's like stuffing, really tasty. And basically, it's probably what most of it is anyway. All right. So try it. It's worth a try. I actually have completely surprised myself that I actually enjoy it. And I would say I have cut down my meat protein by 2/3, at least half. So pretty surprising, huh? There we go. All right, everybody. So we'll see you next week or on Friday. I hope you have a wonderful week. I want to just remind you all the reason that I'll be so excited about the cupboards in my laundry room is because I spent 2 years trying to get them done, bit by bit, saving for the paint, saving for the everything else. But then the reason I got so excited about being able to walk the way I did this week is because I have been working on it all winter. All right. And Jody will attest to that. Right. Every day I check in with her and say, I'm going to go and do some work on Billy the bike, which is my little underdesk bike that I will sit and binge watch and do half an hour. What I've been doing is trying to get strength. One of the things I really want to recommend for those of you, one of the most important exercises you can do is to stretch these muscles here, your pecs, sorry. And the way I found that works really well is just go to a door jam and then just lean in. All right? Just literally lean in with the door jam. So you've got the safety of the door jam, all right? And see how far you can lean in. And you will stretch all these muscles and, work your shoulder blades. And from what I gathered from the physiotherapist that I worked with after the mastectomy, this is really important stuff, not just for me to rebuild my muscles here after the mastectomy, but just generally at my age, right? To stop the stoop, to stop the, to keep you upright. So the other thing I've done this week, just so you know, is I have started doing yoga on my bed. That sounds strange, but I can't get up and down off the floor easily at the moment. All right. So I thought, why do I have to go to the floor? Why don't I do the exercises on my bed? So if, I can, until I've built the strength up. Because being on my mattress, it's going to require quite a lot of muscle control anyway, because the mattress will shake. So I thought, I'm just going to try and do that for a few months to see how far I can get doing yoga on my bed rather than, and, when it says lie on the floor, I'm not going to be lying on the floor. I'm going to be lying on my bed. And just to see how much I can do. I can tell you that this time last year, I could not lean back and put my butt, fat as it is, on my heels. I couldn't do that. I am able to do that almost. I can do it now, but not well. Does that make sense? So it's taken a long time to stretch those muscles, and I'm still working on doing that. Oh, Jody's saying bed yoga is a thing. Yes. Oh, good. Well, that's what I'm doing. Just, a little bit, every little bit, I'm just going, what do I need to strengthen up? And, I'm up to 5-pound weight. So the weight training is going well, one step at a time, all the time. Keep moving forward, people. Just do the best you can, whatever that is, however small that is. And then, it's an accomplishment, and accomplishment's good for your mental health. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you on Friday. Thanks for everybody for being here, and thanks for looking after me. Bye-bye for now.